Hi, welcome to That Reminds Me Of, a podcast about film and the films that remind us of that film. You're here with Baron and the Doc.
And the maestro.
Do we need another drink?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Who knows, by now we probably have had the intro that we produced, so we don't have to do the awkward...
No longer have to do the awkward intro.
And we could just start anytime.
The awkward intro days are gone. And we can just start talking.
Okay.
Whenever we feel like it, like right now.
Maybe it's already started.
Maybe it started.
Okay.
Great.
Cool.
So what have you been up to this week, Doc? Tell me about it.
Oh, what have I been up to? I've been out at the beach. I've semi-relocated for a short time down at the coast, and I've just been making a fool of myself, on the beach.
So good. You've been living, you're living the paradise life now, on a beach, in a shack.
That's
me. That's it? Wow.
Yeah.
And I saw you were reading... give it to me. King Lear.
King Lear.
Yes.
But actually, I brought what I'm reading today.
Yeah?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You
the hustle of the
go for
Aldi bag that I brought in.
You had a photo of... Oh, you've moved on from
No,
Lear.
I'm reading Great Expectations.
Oh, wow.
Rereading it for like the 10th time, actually. And I just think rereading is a thing to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
that's great.
I was prompted particularly to bring it in because you noticed on my bookshelf some of the books that were the publisher that I love. It's the Everyman Library, and this is an Everyman Library edition.
It's good.
So bloody beautiful. Look at that, color-coded depending on the era.
Oh, it's pretty.
Yep.
It's pretty. A whole stack of those on your bookshelf looks amazing.
They do.
Most people buy those and then never actually read them, but you read them. You can tell because it's all little bit dog-eared, and that's what it's about.
I don't read many of them, in honesty.
Okay, well.
But
you just shot me down. I was really impressed for a second there. But you do read more than most.
Well, and I reread this one. And Charles Dickens is just the greatest storyteller on earth. He's just wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cinematic. People often say he's cinematic, so it's very apt for a film podcast.
Great. You know what? I've not yet heard you bring up Dickens as it reminds me of, I don't think.
Well, we'll have to change that perhaps.
We will. Yes, we will. Awesome.
I don't think I'm the interesting one this episode, though. You've been so bloody busy. I don't know where to start with you.
It's been...
Perhaps we could start with puppies.
Yes. Got a dog. Puppy. That is life-changing, let me tell you. Just like 3 days ago, we got a 8-week-old puppy, and she's peeing and pooing everywhere all the time. Like, there's more poo coming out of her than food going into her somehow. It's insane. I don't know how it's possible.
Quantum mechanics, I think.
How many times a day can one go? Like, really? It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's an existential question.
Yeah, that you weren't actually asking me seriously.
No, okay. No. But yeah, she's delightful, but how insane. I don't know how long this is going to last for. I don't know if I'm ready for it.
Enough of puppies. I'm sick of puppies. I want to hear about your film stuff because you, for a change, got to actually go to a festival.
Yes. I got to go to Flickerfest in Bondi. Bondi's crazy. That's a crazy place.
I've never been to Bondi.
Wow.
Been to Sydney, but I didn't bother going to Bondi.
This festival's cool, right? It's in terms of Australian festivals, it's the only one that's Academy qualifying. It's like well respected. They have the festival in Bondi on the beach in a sort of open air cinema, but then they also travel the country after the festival's over and have screenings in every state in lots of little centres around Australia. So Evie, my short film, will be doing the tour, which is cool. And
did you mention what the festival's called? I'm not sure you did.
Flickerfest.
You did.
Did I? I don't know.
I don't know. It's Flickerfest.
It's Flickerfest. So I went for just 2 days because that's all I could really squeeze in, and it was awesome. It's a cool festival.
What a thrill.
Yeah.
So it's been in heaps, but this is the first one that you've been able to actually...
This is the Australian premiere and the first I could go to. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I've asked my main 2 questions. What else is happening?
I did a Spartan race last weekend.
Oh, that's right. And we haven't spoken since because I pulled out.
No. Yeah, we were meant to do this thing together. That would have been amazing.
Yeah. Look at the shape of me. I'm not in the shape for Spartan. I'm sorry.
Well,
next time.
I think you dodged a bullet because I got my ass handed to me. It was the most humbling thing I've ever done. Like, I've done this specific Spartan race in Bright 2 years ago,
What, the same distance? Because this was
Same-
a half marathon
Yeah, it's-
distance, wasn't it?
21 Ks. I've done this exact race before, but this time they had changed the course, and Bright is a mountainous. It's like alpine high country, right? And so you're not just going 21 Ks. You're going 21 Ks up and down mountains, and it's just really hard on your legs anyway. But they just changed the course. I don't know what they did. They moved the trails, and they changed it to an extent that. My legs just got shot about 17 Ks in, and the last 4 were like pure hell. It was so hard. It was so hard, like the most painful thing I've ever done, and humbling as hell. Like I just crawled over the line and was like, okay, yep, I need to train a lot more for something like this.
That's
Clearly.
ridiculous. I'd say that's almost uncharted territory.
There you go. I love it. I love it.
Which reminds me of the fact that we just saw a film just then. So
Yes.
we used to do this a lot, didn't we? We'd go to the film and just review it straight away, even in the foyer sometimes.
Yep.
Like I remember our Wonder Woman episode when we got
The fire alarms went off.
the fire alarms went off.
Yes.
So we used to do that all the time, and that's something that I enjoyed. And we've done it again today. We went
Yep.
and saw the film, and we're straight back here, unrehearsed. We haven't thought of anything, not that we usually do anyway.
There's very little time today, and probably won't make much of a difference,
Yeah.
honestly.
So this is literally fresh. We've just come out, and we want to hear what each other think.
Yeah, that's right. And the maestro is in the room with us again today after not being here last episode.
It's good to have you back, Maestro.
Hi, everyone.
And so the 3 of us just went to the film together.
Yeah.
And it was a classic Palace Cinema combo extreme deal, whatever they call it, of you're seeing the movie a little bit early. You get popcorn, a drink of your choice. We went for wine, and Magnum, I think it was.
Yes, yeah, it was a
Boom.
triple threat.
Triple threat.
But we haven't yet got a sponsorship deal, so
No.
we will keep mentioning until they knock on our door.
All that shit for $24. That's the same as a ticket to Hoyt's. I'm
Take
just
yourself to Palace Cinema Pentridge, folks. It's a place
Yeah.
to be.
saying. That's right. And it was in Cinema 12, which is the big one. So good sound. It's a big screen, not as big as the biggest screens around, but still good. Still good.
It was fairly sparse, wasn't it? I know we're
Yeah.
still in COVID times. Enough there for a bit of an atmosphere, but there could be more people coming back to the cinema, I think.
I don't know what they're all doing. They're all out there afraid of COVID or something, I guess.
Yeah,
But,
well, I haven't been outside for a month, so like
you risked it all for Uncharted.
I risked it all for Uncharted. So first question,
Yeah.
was it worth it? Was my risk worthwhile?
Well, that depends what you're going out for in a film, Doc, I think. I enjoyed myself,
Okay.
but I don't know if it was worth the risk at the same time. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I agree. I haven't completely made my mind up yet, but I think I'm not sure it was worth it.
Yeah.
Look, the company was great. Maestro was great. You were all right too.
Okay.
So the company was great. The conversation, I'm sure, is going to be great.
Yeah.
Film-
Maestro almost dropped his popcorn like 3 times while we were watching it.
Almost. Did you
Yeah.
see the state of his chair when we left? There was popcorn all over it. He's like a 10-year-old boy. The 10-year-old boy he was talking about in the Hand of God episode when he was talking about his childhood. That's the version that we went out with tonight.
Please, that's embarrassing.
Ah, well, just sharing.
I think we need to do a quick synopsis to give some background.
Oh, God, I haven't even
And
thought
I don't
about
see
that.
either of us prepared for that.
No.
We don't have our phones on us.
Okay.
Let's look it up. Or do you want to just...
No.
make
Great
it up?
idea. Look it up because that's what we should do.
What's it called? Uncharted.
Uncharted.
It's by Ruben Fleischer.
And I'm sure most people know about this, but Uncharted is based on a popular game series that came out on the PlayStation, and they made at least 4 of them, maybe more, probably more.
So, question: Did you know that instinctively? Like, have you played the game? Are you familiar with the pop cultural reference?
I'm familiar with it. I've never had a PlayStation, so I've missed out on some games like Uncharted. I've missed out on The Last of Us, which hurts me badly because I hear it's like the most amazing zombie game. And some people think of it as like a zombie story that you can't miss if you like the genre. And it's a game on a platform that I haven't ever had. So I've actually thought about getting a PlayStation just for that game. But that aside, Uncharted's never really grabbed me like that. But I've heard about it for sure. It's very popular. Made Sony a lot of money, I'm sure.
I've never heard of it. I didn't know what I was getting in for.
Well-
I did just before I came in. I just read about it and realised it was about a game. But
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's in the realm of Tomb Raider, something along those lines. You know, it's a male action hero doing treasure hunting, I guess, and lots of jumps and stunts and, you know, like timed missions and so on.
I think my reference is a little earlier than that because I'm a bit older than you and half our audience probably.
Is it still a game reference though?
It's still a game reference.
Fantastic.
Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego?
Oh, wow.
Do you know that one? That was going to be in my Reminds Me Of segment.
I know of that because of the cartoon that my kids watched.
Oh, so it's progressed.
But it's a new version of that.
Yeah, I remember
There you
on the old, whatever those vintage first run computers were that we used to have in grade 6 in between the two classrooms, and two classes would share one computer, and you'd go in and play Where on Earth is Carmen Sandiego.
So good.
Synopsis time.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready.
You're ready?
More
I'm
than
not
you.
at all.
Okay.
Okay, good. I
reckon I've racked up a few synopses lately.
Yeah, you have.
I reckon you owe me some.
I do.
So this one is street smart Nathan Drake is recruited by seasoned treasure hunter Victor Sully Sullivan to recover a fortune amassed by Ferdinand Magellan. Is it Magellan or Magellan? It'd have to be Magellan.
Magellan.
And lost 500 years ago by the House of Moncada.
Well, does that tell you anything other than they've all got cool names? There's a lot of cool names there, but they're all ridiculous names.
I stuff up some sort of pronunciation every episode, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
I don't think I've...
we both do.
I just think I'm not confident enough. I think I know what they are, but I just stammer through it. I need to trust myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a crappy synopsis.
It was crappy. Yeah, but we got Tom Holland as the main character. I can't remember what his name was.
Drake. Maestro?
Yes,
Good.
My God. And then Wahlberg is the older guy who's sort of the one who ropes him into this mission to find Spanish gold from the 1600s or something. I don't know.
From long ago.
We've got Antonio Banderas, who is the villain, I guess, but not much of a villain.
But I love it, Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's great.
He's great.
Like watching him.
He's just the wealthy guy who's also looking for the gold, who, you know, really, I don't know why we're down on him. He's actually not really done anything wrong this entire film.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Look, motive is a bit of a problem for me, for Antonio.
True.
When he's prepared to pay, $2 million for the keys.
True.
Why bother? I know there was a little segment where we're told that it's all, a family thing, and he, wants to do it for that reason.
Right.
And then we hear that maybe the boats, ships are worth billions.
Yes.
So maybe that could be a chance, but...
I guess the moment he switches over from just being a wealthy guy looking for more wealth is when he kills his own father.
Yeah,
that's probably the moment.
But that also, if he's doing it for family reasons,
that's true. That's fine.
Kind of goes against that a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and also, no one feels too bad about one wealthy old guy killing another old wealthy guy. Isn't that funny? You just don't really. You just don't feel for that for those people.
I don't think the old wealthy guys are the victims of the 2020s.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I think we've lost our sympathy for them.
Yeah, that's true. And then the other characters are actually mostly cool adventure women.
Yeah.
Who are, I can't remember the name of the lady that ends up helping them until the end, and then she's not helping them anymore.
The actor is Sophia Taylor Ali.
Is she Australian?
Oh, I was trying to work it out all through. It went from Aussie to British.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe she's just an Aussie that's been in the UK for a while.
There were a couple things where she said something like "my father," and I was like, "Oh, she's
yeah,
an
my
Aussie."
father." yeah.
So yeah, but I was wondering the same thing. Like, how Aussie is this person? It was a bit mixed. She could have
She's
been.
American.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Well, there you go. Maybe she was trying to be Australian and she was nailing some of it, and some of it came off British.
Yeah, okay. Well, she was quite good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed her
She confused
performance.
me.
But she confused the the boys in the cast as well, didn't she?
She did. Yeah.
Like they didn't know what to think, and they didn't know what to think of Tati Gabriel. Tati,
Yep.
that's the actress's name.
Yep.
But she was good too. The other villainess.
Yep.
Um,
And it was all just sort of adventure, gold heist adventure hijinks, really, isn't it? The whole film.
hijinks adventure. Yes.
Yeah.
And that he does that very well, Ruben Fleischer.
Yeah. What else has Ruben Fleischer done?
Okay,
Are you-
let's talk about him. Can we
Okay.
start with him?
Yep.
Let's start with Zombieland, for example.
Great.
Hmm.
Great.
Brilliant.
Same person?
Same person.
Wow.
He did Zombieland,
Yep.
which is brilliant. He did 30 Minutes or Less, which is this crazy scenario where Jesse Eisenberg is a pizza delivery guy and has to kill people and rob a bank and do all these
Right.
things for very little real motive because he's got a bomb strapped to him, but it
Got
doesn't
it.
make any sense.
Yep. And that's based on the idea of 30 minutes or your pizza's free. Is that
That's
the idea?
exactly
Okay,
right.
great.
And also he's done Venom more recently, which stars Tom Hardy and is in the Sony Marvel universe.
I didn't love Venom. I mean, it was okay. I didn't love it.
Yeah, I just watched it the other night in preparation for this.
Yep.
And I really hated it. And then I really loved it. And
What does that mean?
I don't
What
know,
does that mean?
but I think there's a theme here because I think I feel, other than Zombieland, which is just unarguably great.
Great. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's a great film.
That's
a
great
really fun film.
Really tightly considered and
Yeah.
executed. But these other ones, all those other ones I mentioned, they've got bits that are okay and bits that fall down. But I think I'm starting to see trends. And he loves the action, loves the goofball, doesn't care much about making things make sense, just wants to make it move from moment to moment in a fun, engaging way. And once you're onto that,
Yep.
you think, okay, well, I get what he's doing, and yeah, he's doing all right. This is fun to watch, even if it's ridiculous.
Are you saying he's a bit of a Michael Bay?
I think he's better than Michael Bay.
Okay, good. Yep. No, I was just checking. I wanted to see how, if I threw that at you, what you do with it.
Well, what I'm doing with it is having a moment internally because I've been quite critical of Michael Bay, haven't I?
You have, yeah. I just, because you go to a Michael Bay film
Yeah.
knowing it's going to be ridiculous, but
Mm.
might be a bit fun because of all the action and craziness. But I just it feels like
jeez.
these last few films are kind of that as well. And this and Uncharted in particular is that it is eye-rollingly ridiculous
Yeah, it is.
almost the whole way through.
Yeah.
But you kind of just have to go, well, that's the point. That's what they're doing here. So let's just go for the ride.
One of the positives with how he does it, just moving quickly from thing to thing, not worrying about explanation because you'll just get, drawn into the action.
Yeah.
One of the good things is that the films often go short. They run short. Mm-hmm. So I was expecting this one to run quite short as well. I don't know what the run time was, but
It didn't feel long.
it felt like it dragged a bit at the end to me.
Yeah.
But
But no, it didn't feel overly long to me.
Okay.
I mean, it probably was still cracking on 2 hours. So that's not 90 minutes, which would be awesome. But
I think the others have been more like 90 minutes.
yeah, okay.
We can edit this out if I'm wrong. But and that felt refreshing. So even though I'm thinking ridiculous, then I think it's over, and I think, oh, cool, it's over, and I had a sort of.
I kind of enjoyed it.
I kind of enjoyed it in hindsight. I didn't have time to get completely over it.
Yeah.
This one just dragged a little bit and tried to be a bit more Hollywood spectacle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think to me, the whole thing was a bit crazy and ridiculous and kind of getting away with it, even though I've seen it done better elsewhere, until
Mm-hmm.
the helicopters flying ships into each other sequence. And that's when I just went, yeah, okay. I don't know what we're doing here. Like, in what world does this ever happen? Like, I feel like we just departed reality a little too much. I mean, it's all a departure from reality, but this was just like one step too far. You know, they talk about suspension of disbelief. That's just when I went, well, what are we doing here? You know, now we're having helicopter chases with ancient ships hanging off of cargo nets through canyons of islands in the Caribbean, like, or wherever they were. I don't know.
Yeah, it really needed Arthur Fonzarelli on the back of one of those speedboats.
Yeah.
About to jump the shark, I think.
Yep.
Okay, so what is there left to talk about here? Ruben Fleischer, like,
I think we should talk about things that we were reminded of.
you're just willing to cut it there.
I am.
Yeah.
And the reason is that I just don't know what else I can say that's... Because, you know, when we've sort of always agreed that, like, let's be fair but fairly positive and not too down on anything. And I just don't know what else to say. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I mean, unless you have something else you want to talk about
No,
specifically.
I can't think of anything. I could talk a lot about some of the other films, actually.
Yeah.
Like Venom that I watched a couple of nights ago. I could,
Great. Tell
I
me
could
about
talk. Well, we don't have to.
Okay, but I'm just curious, like, what your thoughts are.
Well, I like the fact. Do you know you've seen it? You said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hated. I think I said I hated it at the start.
Yeah.
It seemed ridiculous, especially when Venom started bloody talking to Tom Hardy
With that stupid
with
voice.
that stupid voice.
Yeah.
And up with the the local San Fran vernacular.
Yeah.
When he's a bloody alien, and that just seemed absolutely ludicrous. And I thought,
Ooh,
I'm
yeah.
stopping watching this now.
Please excuse
But I
me.
didn't. And then I saw the relationship build up between Venom and Tom,
Yeah.
and it kind of drew me in. And I was invested in Venom all of a sudden. And
Yeah.
I liked it, and I liked that stupid voice. And I thought, okay, he's not actually taking this seriously. So he's making fun of it, playful. You know, he's not doing a bloody Ben Affleck and
Batman.
Gal Gadot DC
no.
take it seriously stuff.
Totally.
He's taken the mickey.
Yeah.
And if that's what he's trying to do, that's fine. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah, really playing the lighter side of Marvel stuff, the Marvel universe, and kind of having fun with it.
And this is
Yeah.
clearly what this film was doing too. It wasn't taking anything seriously. So,
Yeah,
let's
I agree with
enjoy.
that. And I think, Tom Holland fits into that little niche of action hero that can be witty and throw off quick kind of comedy lines and get away with it, pretty fun. But this was just not the best of him doing that. Like, if you want to see him do that well, you can watch Spider-Man and see him nail it. And this just doesn't really feel like that it ever quite got rolling, and they ever quite hit their straps with that stuff,
Yeah. He's pretty versatile though, isn't he? Like
totally.
He can just pull it off, and he's watchable.
Yeah, he's charming as hell.
Just charming as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I reckon before we get to what it reminded us of, why don't we introduce our new segment,
Oh, yeah. New segment.
tentatively titled "A Moment with Maestro," and this is the segment where we fling to Maestro and ask him what the moment of the film was that resonated most with him.
I am so excited about this segment.
You're excited.
I'm so excited about this segment. This is going to be great.
This is going to be great. Well,
Yeah.
I hope it is now. I hope he's thought about this, because he hasn't had very long to think about it either, just like us.
Yeah.
So
Because you just came up with this idea tonight.
tonight,
And
yes.
told us both this idea on the way here from the cinema. So
Well, no, I told you earlier in the cinema. I told Maestro just before we started filming. So,
But I think this is going to be great. I think you do too. I think
Yeah.
Maestro does. And then, well, I'm speaking for Maestro, but then I think if it's great, we'll just keep it rolling. Every episode we'll do
We'll see.
a moment with the Maestro.
well, this is almost like an audition, isn't it?
I guess, but let's not put too much,
Okay.
pressure on him. I think it's going to be awesome.
So, Sal being Maestro,
Yeah.
for those viewers at home
Yeah.
who don't realise it's an alias.
Yeah.
What was the moment of this film, Uncharted by Ruben Fleischer, that stood out to you?
What's this? Banderas. Banderas when he got killed. Because it's the right moment, the time of the and becoming fun. It was quite nice, and also
it was quite nice. He got killed. That was a nice moment for you.
Because he's sitting there like he's doing a monologue, you know, like a great actor doing his monologue, and then he get chopped, you know, he get killed, and that became also quite funny.
Yeah.
But and also talking about, I didn't see the zombie movie, so I don't know Zombieland.
Mm.
But the reality is, in talking about this movie, is that he did a great movie, Zombieland, and probably was independent.
True.
And then you get into these big, you know, movies, mainstream, and there is all the influence of distribution, Sony, Marvel, whatever, you know, and that's what makes this movie like nothing was new. Not everything that you see in this movie has been already seen.
Great point. Yeah. No, that's a great point because Zombieland is a medium budget film. And
I don't think
everything
it was
after that.
Not independent. I think it was a studio film, but it was like a little studio film that they didn't sort of, you know, care much about until it went crazy.
They spent most of their money on Bill Murray. And then
so it's the one where his policeman is investigating and
no,
that's not the one.
No, it's where Bill Murray.
That's the Jarmusch film. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, spoiler alert! It's when Bill Murray pretends to be a zombie and then becomes one.
That's right.
Does he become one, or
he's that's right. I think he's just sort of lounging around being lazy, and they end up killing him. Yeah, it was awesome. That was such a good film.
It's such a good film, and No, I'll let Sal continue.
Yes. Sorry, Sal.
No, that's my point. That's my moment, because everything we see in this movie has been already seen. You know.
That's beautiful.
The Banderas moment, I think, is a really good pick, because if you to find a moment, we asked him for a moment, and that was a real moment of the film, wasn't it? That was, it had drama, it was building up to something, and it was a dramatic scene, and then to have him just, knocked off like that was quite comedic.
I actually have a reminds me of specific to that moment. So I am so glad you brought that moment up, Sal.
Well, it reminded me of Leo DiCaprio in Don't Look Up, like when he was having his moment.
Yeah.
I don't know why I say that, but it was equally impassioned.
Yes. So, okay. So I reckon this is a banger, right? And it's specifically about that moment, because when I saw it, it made me laugh because it made me think about this other film that did the same thing. Possibly better. No, definitely better.
Well, yeah.
100% better.
I'm tipping it would have been.
Yeah. But still, it's the same gag and it works. So, Deep Blue Sea. Have you ever seen that film? About big sharks in the ocean?
Don't think I have.
There's a moment in Deep Blue Sea.
Who's in it?
I can't remember who all the cast are, but I remember Samuel L. Jackson's in it.
Yep.
And he's standing in front of, he's got basically the sharks. They've got either giant sharks or they're mutated sharks. There's something with these sharks, right? They're really become aggressive and they're attacking this facility with all these people in it.
Yep. They're not on a plane.
No, not this time. They're sort of under the ocean. Yep. And he's having a speech. Samuel L. Jackson is saying to the remaining survivors, he's standing in front of this big water hole and he's like telling them how they got to survive and they're going to do this and that and they're going to band together and it's going to be great. And mid-speech, the shark jumps out of the hole and bites him and pulls him in.
That old chestnut.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And it's the same thing. And again, it's such a heroic moment where he's, cut short.
The fact that we're laughing is like, but as Sal said, it's been done 100 times. Like, I'm sure that device has just been used millions of times and you laugh every time, so why not keep using it?
Absolutely. And if you get a heavy hitter in your film and you want to knock them off, like you want to give them a good moment before it happens, right?
Yeah, wow.
So do you want to crack into things that you were reminded of? Because
let's see, I was reminded of Lovecraft Country. one episode in particular where the heroes are doing this, Indiana Jones style treasure hunt, and they're going, there's keys and there's codes, there's secret passages, there's water.
That's right.
and
That's a cracking episode.
Oh well, I remember I love the series, but that was the episode where I thought, oh, really, this is a bit ridiculous. I still loved it, and it was entertaining. But this reminded me so much of that. I just thought they're not. None of this is based in anything like a real world.
No,
I know it's based on a computer game, so it's not going to be.
No,
but remind me of that.
That's beautiful. I love that show. I've just been rewatching it recently.
It is a good show.
Yeah, and it's just so devastating that season 2 is not going to exist.
Really?
Yeah, they canned it.
I thought it was a winner. I thought everyone loved it.
It was a winner, but I believe it's HBO just decided that the direction of the second season wasn't something they wanted to invest in.
Okay.
It had zombies in it. Apparently, it went off in a bit of a weird tangent or a different tangent, and they just weren't into the idea. For whatever reason.
Well, it was already going in all weird tangents, so I'm not sure.
However, I think the beauty of it was that every episode was like a different pulp adventure sci-fi novel or a story contained.
Yeah.
And yet there was this through line, which was kind of pretty about the whole... There was like the way that was put together was done in such a nice way. And that episode you're talking about is a prime example. Like, it just comes out of nowhere. Suddenly they're in a museum looking for clues and opening secret vaults that the moon shines on. And that sort of stuff,
sort of nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely impossible to believe.
Touching a tooth that like hundreds of thousands of people must have touched before, but this time it just turns and opens a secret vault.
But I think it's a return to simpler days.
Yeah.
In a way, isn't it? Like, if you think of, you're probably going to mention Indiana Jones, are you? Sorry.
No, actually, I have another reference that's in this realm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my point was just going to be, if you look back to movies like that, back in the heyday, they spend little time trying to sort of
absolutely
explain things, and they just have a few MacGuffins thrown in,
right?
And that eggs on the storyline.
Yep, 100%. So the other one that I was going to throw in is National Treasure.
I assumed that would be a reference, but I haven't seen it. Is that Cage?
Yeah, Nick Cage. That's why National Treasure's fun. If you took this film that we just watched today and you put Nick Cage in it, infinitely more fun. Straight away. The whole thing just becomes way more fun just because he's in it.
That is nothing against the people in it, because they were all good.
Great.
But I completely agree.
Yeah. They're great, but they're kind of obvious choices. Nick Cage is not an obvious choice, and that's what makes it fun. You know what I mean? So,
well, yeah, they're obvious choices for maybe the wrong sort of film in a way, because what's his name? Donnie. It's Donnie Wahlberg. He's not the New Kids on the Block Wahlberg.
This is Mark. What are you talking about?
Is this Mark?
This is Mark.
So Donnie is the New Kids on the Block guy. Is that before your time?
I know the reference, but I don't remember I don't know who was in New Kids on the Block.
Okay, but this one is Marky Mark.
This is Marky Mark.
And the Funky Bunch.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one who was in New Kids on the Block.
Okay.
I get confused.
Awesome.
Where was I going with that? Any idea?
Well, we just talked about obvious choices.
Yeah, well, he's an obvious choice he's often in these spoofy kind of things. And Tom Holland, I guess but I know he's in a quirky Spider-Man movies, but he's still kind of a bit of a Hollywood cliche now in a way, isn't he?
Yes.
Or has he become one, maybe?
I think he's starting to become one. I think now if you want the witty action hero, you're going to be thinking of Tom Holland pretty quickly, especially if there's like parkour and, stunts and crazy action. And
he does it great. He's in many respects the perfect choice. Yeah. But perhaps a Nick Cage or someone a bit crazy, throw John Travolta in there or something ridiculous might have been more in keeping with.
And yet they would never do that today.
Yeah.
That era is past. Like that was a 90s, early 2000s thing. Where'd that fly come
We've
from?
got a fly in the studio.
Where did it come from? All the doors. Oh, that
No,
window.
Well soundproofed.
Bastard. That's gonna kill me.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think we went on and on with that one a bit. Have you got any others?
I do.
You do?
Yeah. Do you?
I do, actually.
Great. You go next.
I was reminded of a book. I don't know if I've mentioned this one before. Maybe I have, so stop me if I repeat myself. But a book called Masquerade by Kit Williams. It's a picture book. And I became obsessed by this picture book in grade 4.
I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of it?
No.
It's a beautiful book, and it's just full of illustrations, and those illustrations, every page is a clue to unravel a mystery of where a treasure is buried.
Beautiful.
And the wonderful thing is that there was an actual treasure buried. So the author buried a treasure, and this was the map and the clues to find it. So it was a kid's book, but it took, I think, the UK or the world by storm. Or I don't know if it took everyone by storm, but a niche community by storm, and who went looking for the treasure. So it just reminded me of my childhood.
That's beautiful.
In
I love
trying to find this treasure through this book in grade 4.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So if we have any viewers who are not from Australia, this is a blowfly is just come into the studio at what time is it? It's like 10 p.m.
Yeah, they don't sleep.
They don't sleep. It's very Australian.
Yeah. Now, do you reckon the mics are picking up that blowfly?
I don't know. We're just going to roll with it, I think.
Yeah,
at this
okay.
point,
I could see it.
You can see it?
Did you see it fly through the frame? That's classic.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool. So I've just said a 1979 picture book.
Beautiful.
What's yours?
Well, just trying to think what the next one is that I should roll into. Okay. So we talked about Tom Holland and the sort of action hero star quality, and it just made me and how he's an obvious choice for these things. It made me think about how Tom Cruise held this position at some point.
I was reminded by Tom Cruise as well when he was doing the cocktail stuff.
Yes, the cocktails, and also the sort of the whole ridiculous, the planes crashing or whatever, things like falling off the cargo area of the plane, and he's like somehow rock climbing over them and surviving. Like that's so Tom Cruise as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a specific film that came into my mind that just feels like the height of this Tom Cruise moment.
It was peak Cruise.
It was peak Cruise, and that was a film called Night and Day. Had Tom Cruise and
were the characters called Someone Night and Someone Day?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think so. I've seen it. I don't remember the details, but I remember it was peak Cruise. It had what's her name? I'm just blanking on her name. Something about Mary.
Cameron Diaz.
Yes, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else to say. It's just, it was him being Pete Cruise at the height of his action star craziness, but he was a bit older, which was interesting. And I feel like Tom Holland could easily be heading towards that.
Well, I hope he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't too.
Although, I think Maestro...
it's a bit of a waste because he's very talented actor. So
Tom Holland or Tom Cruise?
No, Tom Holland. Tom Holland.
The Toms.
I really hope it doesn't go to, because I expect more from him.
I think Tom Cruise is great.
Yeah, I do
you know
too.
What I mean?
Yeah, I think he's odd.
Yeah.
But as an actor, I really quite enjoy him.
Me too. I'm not a Tom Cruise hater. I think he's great. But just that he has gone, peak Cruise at certain times. So,
can I just deviate from the script?
Yeah.
And I've found another actor who reminds me so much of Tom Cruise, and no one would ever pick it.
Great.
But once you see it, you can't unsee it, in my opinion. And I've forgotten his name. He's the...
Whoa,
but we've seen...
so anticlimactic.
We've seen... you'll know his name. We've seen him and talked about him in other films lately. He's the star of Yesterday.
Oh, no.
What's his name? Is it Dev?
It's not Dev Patel. It's...
What's his name? He's
We're
wonderful.
all going to look it up.
And he was
I know the
also-
guy you're talking about. He's
He
great.
was also in the series that I mentioned recently, which is called Station 11. And he had a cameo. Not a
Himesh-
cameo. He was in Don't Look Up last week. We mentioned him last week.
Himesh Patel.
Himesh Patel.
Patel.
Okay.
Ah,
Who's the other one? Dev Patel.
yeah.
Okay. I can't picture Dev Patel. Anyway, Patels.
Yeah.
No relation.
I don't
Maybe
know.
They are.
Don't know.
But Hamish Patel, he's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I just see Tom Cruise in his eyes and in his enunciation and everything. Just
Really?
just
I'm going to have to rewatch some.
just
Hamish
put it in the back
Patel.
of your head.
Because I can't see it at the moment.
No, just
Wow. Okay.
just keep that buried away.
Yep.
Viewers at home, do the same. Feel free to contradict me in the comments. That's what they're there for.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Now, there's no way that we can't talk about video games that have been adapted to films.
Okay, well, I
'Cause
can't
that's-
because I have no knowledge in the area, but I'd love you to.
Okay. So I did a little, like, it's not my favorite thing. I don't really, I can't think of many video games that have been adapted that I think are great. However, one sec, I had a little search going here before that I quite enjoyed. Tomb Raider mentioned,
Yep.
Rampage, shit,
Yep.
Warcraft, shit, Resident Evil. Now, I have a bit of a soft spot for Resident Evil.
The films or the
Both
game?
the games and the films. Some of the games are banging. Some of the games are great, really good. And the films, they get wilder and weirder as you go along.
That was the
that's
soda
your
water.
Soda water. But, I've got a bit of a soft spot for them still. Assassin's Creed was not good. Prince of Persia was not good. Mortal Kombat, I don't know.
This is a whole genre that I just don't
Yeah.
know or understand, I have to say, because I haven't played any of the games. I haven't played a game since Double Dragon.
Yeah, I've played a bunch of these games. Mario Brothers. No, I mean, some people might have a soft spot for that film, but I don't really feel it. Hitman. It just goes on and on. And Doom. I don't know. Max Payne. That was actually had Mark Wahlberg in it as well. Game was cool. Didn't really love the film. So it's a fairly doomed, in my opinion, path to tread. However, I have a recent one that I like, but it's a bit of a cheat.
Why is it a cheat?
Well, The Witcher on Netflix.
Oh, okay. That's not a cheat.
It is a cheat because there's a graphic novel that came before the games.
That's a cheat. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So
Yeah.
it's based on the graphic novel rather than the games.
Yeah. However, season 2 of Witcher, I was quite excited to see that they'd built the set of like the Witcher's castle
Based
to
on the
look
game.
exactly the same as it is in the game.
Okay.
That was cool.
I take it back. I think that's quite a legitimate,
Yeah.
reminds me of.
Yeah. I don't have any people watching. If you know of any great game adaptations, I want to know. But I just can't think of any at the moment.
Well, rather than think of specifics,
Yeah.
so I don't really know any of them, as I said, but this movie did make me think of the different approaches to adapting a video game. And, do you delve in and make it filmic and develop the characters and do all this stuff? Or do you play by the video game rules and just have it be, discrete little scenes, one after the other, very clear motives and actions and responses to problems? And I didn't explain that very well, but what do you call it? Missions. And this one I think was good in that way. It was quite short and sharp.
Yes.
It felt like a video game. Not all through. When it felt like a video game, it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I don't know the answer to that. It's I guess the problem is that, video game a video game is straddling the world of straddling storytelling and gameplay, and you need to have a solid enough story to keep your audience sort of compelled with where they're going, so it doesn't just feel like it's all gameplay and you're kind of grinding your way doing the same things. But often it's not really a strong enough story to then, I think, condense down. Or maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe there's a lot of story, but to turn that into a 90-minute film is difficult because just of the structure of it or something. I don't know, but I just haven't seen it done well yet. I'm curious about that.
I'm starting to analyze the film now, probably only at the end of the podcast, but the first half-ish felt more video game in its structure. So the dialogue was short and sharp. It was all pointed. It was all scenarios that got resolved very quickly. And then as it developed, it went sort of into film land and became like a Pirates of the Caribbean or some big blockbuster rather than feeling like a video game.
Yeah.
Even though the effects probably got, more crazy as it went on, it felt more like a film later on.
Yeah. I think if you've spent a lot of time in these games, there's just no way the films can do them justice. You know what I mean? Like, because, for instance, I played the new Tomb Raider games, the one that the Alicia Vikander Tomb Raiders are sort of based off of. And, she's good. Those films are okay. Well, that film is okay. Was there one or two? I can't remember with Alicia Vikander. Anyway,
no idea.
But the game's just way cooler. Like it just is. There's so much more going on there. And I don't even know actually how you would start to get what you get from the game across into a film experience.
Yeah,
it's hard. That's a big ask.
There was a feeling several years ago that film and games would kind of merge somehow because games were getting so cinematic that they were sort of tipped to become the new experience for stories.
Yeah. Because
I'm not a gamer, I don't know if that's actually happened. I'm sure it's getting more and more like that, but it felt like it was going to just almost take over.
Yeah.
Is it on the way to doing that still, or am I on drugs?
There's a lot of film writers and directors that are moving into games to write and direct the storyline and the cutscenes and that aspect of it, because that is becoming more cinematic. So yeah, I think that's happened, but I'm not seeing it go the other way. In fact, there's speculation that while we kind of understand books as there are literary classics, and there are film classics that we think of as great storytelling, that we're going to enter an era at some point soon, or we already have, but it's just not maybe recognized yet, that games are like they're the next thing in terms of us recognizing classics in storytelling.
Yeah, wow.
Which is interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Because things have changed over the years, haven't they? Like novels didn't always exist. Films definitely didn't always exist.
Right.
And then they become the thing.
Yep. And Last of Us, the game I mentioned earlier, that's one that gets referenced a lot in terms of that idea of games being the next great sort of storytelling platform.
Gee whiz. I've got one other reference that we've mentioned already, but I want to focus in on something specific about it.
Yeah.
And that's Zombieland.
Yep.
And the relationships between the male characters and the female characters, and the fact that the female characters in both are kind of tricksters and they're untrustworthy, at least at times. It was almost the same narrative all over again. You've got a dorky guy in Zombieland, and then a big tough guy. Tom Holland is not really dorky in this, but he's younger, he's naive, he's clumsy. So very similar to Jesse Eisenberg and what's his name, Woody.
This is beautiful.
Of course, it's beautiful. That's until
beautiful.
The end.
Okay, great.
And then the girls, Emma Stone versus both of the other characters, but mainly what's her name's forgotten again.
From which one?
In Uncharted.
I can't remember either.
the Aussie. The Aussie
who's not Aussie.
Yeah, the Aussie who was good, but I've forgotten her name. So the relationship between Tom Holland and her is very, very, very reminiscent of Jesse and Emma.
This guy. Look at you go. That's beautiful. I love it. I love that. I think you've nailed that. I think this is a potentially a recurring theme for Fleischer, maybe.
Yes, yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think it is. And I find him very interesting in the way he deals with his female characters. And as a guy, I can't quite work out if it's empowering or the opposite.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? That's a good question. You could look at it both ways. Probably.
Yeah, like basically the girls in this one were just untrustworthy and evil, and it's really bros before them. So, isn't it? That's the message of the film. Don't trust these chicks.
Yeah, and
trust your mate.
And to the point where the two guys at the end, are having a laugh while they fly off into the sunset at her expense. Sophia Ali
and the other one who's just been hit by the ship.
She's been wiped out. The other one's been sent on a bum steer, and they're just like, those two.
So like they're strong female characters.
They are.
And there's something empowering about having female villains. I know that's cool too in a way.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird as well. And I don't think I'm capable of dissecting it.
No,
I'm picking it. I think I will be in a few years when I've caught up, when wokeness has perhaps picked me up off the floor and told me what to think.
It may have nothing to do with the greater society. It could just be his own little kind of quirk as well.
Yeah, and it makes me think of the other film, 30 Seconds or Less, which is quite crude. And I thought it was, I didn't like it because of its crudity. That's not normally my humour. And I just thought, this doesn't age all that well in some respects. You got final thoughts about this masterpiece?
Only in that I noted that the colour grade was sort of teal and orange in a very Michael Bay-esque fashion.
Don't.
I did. And but that I also had a little bit of fun with the action and found it ridiculous to the extreme, but I was willing to go for the ride. Wouldn't tell everyone or anyone, in fact, to go see it, but I wouldn't talk them out of it either, I guess.
Yeah, you wouldn't stand in front of the cinema, just with a barricade,
with a picket sign,
with a protesting. No, but you might just gently nudge them towards something else.
One of the other films, which are almost all Oscar nominated in the cinemas at the moment.
Yeah, they are. It's a bit of a purple patch, isn't it?
It sure is.
We've been starved, and now we're gluttonous. Let's leave it at that, unless you've got other pearls of wisdom.
Not at all.
No other gold buried somewhere.
The moment with the maestro is a winner, and we should do that next time.
You passed the audition, maestro. Yeah. I think you're back next week.
Thank you.
All right. Till next time.
Can't wait.
See y'all.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.